Hi, welcome. It's time for another town hall with me, Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, also known currently, or the short version is Susan Buchser. I am running for President of the United States as a write-in candidate, so you will have to write my name in on your ballot, or if you've got a computer, there's a way to do it there too. Just ask when you go to vote how to write my name in, if you plan on writing me in. And welcome. It's a town hall and a open mic and a campaign update. So, I am in New York State now. I was just at my high school reunion. I graduated high school in 1984, last century. And it's our 40th anniversary of graduating, so it was fun. We had a reasonable turnout, and the food was good. Earlier in the day, we were allowed to go and look at the school and see how things are looking now. It looks pretty much the same, except I notice there's a lot of chemical smells, from glues and fresh paint and plastic, and I don't know. I mean, it's a little toxic. The only places that weren't are the places that were untouched still, and those were the art rooms. Those rooms have not been touched. They're still the same old thing, just as before, and the ceramic room too. But anyways, it was nice to go back and take a look around. They've changed everything in my high school. They moved the auditorium and made the cafeteria different, and just the swimming pool isn't there anymore where I used to do Lengths for Lives. So yeah, it's a whole new school. I mean, it looks great, but it smells and is very fumy. So I feel sorry for the students that are going there right now, and the teachers. They must get headaches a lot, have problems focusing. I mean, I would if I had to smell that stuff all day long. So anyway, that was my weekend, so to speak. And now I'm heading over to get my mom, and then I got to bring her home, and then I want to head over to the West Coast. But before that, I might stop and take a look at some of the hurricane damage. It doesn't sound good. And of course, my heart goes out to everyone who is affected by this, and especially to those who lost their lives, or to people who have family members or loved ones who lost a loved one. I am terribly sorry. This is a catastrophe. It's a tragedy. Nature can be devastating at times. So I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for all your losses. And, maybe let's have a moment of silence to respect the lives that have been lost, and reflect on them and our memories. So, rest in peace. And it's time to try to live in peace. I understand some of you are no longer having insurance for flooding, and this is going to be a huge problem too. Our country needs to step up and take care of its people, period. So whether you have insurance or not, you need help. And Biden should find a way. So, as far as everything goes, I'm a write-in candidate. There are a few states that don't offer write-in categories on their ballots, but they're very few, and I'm going to have to sue them. But It's probably not going to happen before the election. So I don't know. I need your help, actually, you, the public, in this. You need to go to your county clerk and say, hey, we need a way to write in people's names. And maybe they can put a sticker in, because what I noticed on the ballots where they don't have space for write-ins, they have all this empty space at the end where they could just put a little space and say write in, and then they can have a sticker that they put in, and then you can fill it in, and bingo, then it's done. But the problem is because it's not hand counted, they can't change anything, because the computer won't be able to identify the information. So this is the real problem. It's the computers that are controlling us. And the election division wants to use the computers because there's software in there that's going to change the vote to be what they want it to be. They just want you to walk in the door and vote. They don't care how you vote because they're just going to change it to what they want anyways. So, at this point, I think a lot of you are already unregistered or unregistering, which is great. Please keep that up. If you're not unregistered, get unregistered, because it's in the registration list where a lot of the fraud is. And something I found out recently, and I need to report this, but people in prison, especially people in prison for a long time, their names might be on that registering to vote list, and their information might be being used to make votes. So I suggest everyone who is a prisoner or who was a prisoner once, check your old addresses. There's a website, or even the I think the Women's Voters League, I think they have a way to check your registration all over the country really easily. But the US has one too. I think it's something like usvote.gov or something like that. Anyway, put it into Google, how to check your registration. Not in your particular state, although maybe in your state too, but in other states. And see if you can find out if you're registered somehow in a different state. They started back when I was a kid already with 17 getting us registered to vote. So, you might have been registered to vote at 17, even if you never voted, you're on their list. So you got to go back to when you were put on that list, and then you need to check to see if you're still there. So if you're a woman and you got married and you change your name, you got to use your maiden name, of course, when you check. So you need your, whatever your zip code was, usually your name, and your date of birth is what they usually ask for, I think, to find out if you're registered. So if you are registered, then become unregistered in those places, first off. But also, go to the FBI website. They have a tips line, or put it into Google FBI tips, and you'll come to their page immediately. You don't even have to look around. Then you click down to election fraud, and you start telling your story of how your name is still on the list, even though you've been in prison for how many years, and you couldn't possibly have voted. And then let them do the homework. Because I think we got people using prisoners' names and addresses and voting for those people too while they're in prison. This is unacceptable, period. No, not possible. Shame on you. So, yeah. There's no end to this voter fraud. It's coming in so many different levels. It's disgusting. Then, if you're a U.S. citizen and you know where you are supposed to vote, and you go to vote and they say you cannot vote, that is a lie. Whether you're registered or unregistered, you have a right to vote. So what you have to do is, if you are unregistered and you want to vote, you have to go to the right voting place. So you have to go to or call up your county clerk and say, hey, I live here and I want to vote, so where is my voting space? Where do I go? And then they'll tell you where you have to go. Then you show up there whenever you can, and you say, I'm here to vote. You show your ID, and then you can vote. And if you're not registered, then there might be an extra step of becoming registered or filling out what they call a provisional ballot. And this is where the process is. So I still recommend everybody who can become unregistered, because you can always register later. And then you go, whatever, you're going to have to write a letter to a specific space. So call up your county clerk for that too and say, how do I unregister and become unregistered? Follow the instructions. Say, I don't want to be registered anymore. Please take my name off the list. And they have to do it. And they have to do it immediately. They cannot say, oh no, we can't. No. It's your name. And you don't want them messing with it. And if they refuse to take it off, then go to the FBI tips line and tell them, this county is not taking my name off the registering to vote list. And, let the FBI handle it. But this is unacceptable, what's going on. So, what else? Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I wish the Supreme Court would make a ruling on my lawsuit so that we can move forward. Then I am calling for a ceasefire. I don't know. I saw some pictures of supposedly Iran attacking Israel. Again, I don't know. We're at the beginning of October. It's like celebration time. So maybe there's a religious holiday we don't know about that they're celebrating. It just doesn't look really like bombs to me. And, I already showed you, at least in Afghanistan, I'm going to look for some more. But there was an earthquake last October 7th. And suddenly, the other countries were reporting an earthquake when Israel reported they were attacked. So I think there's a big lie going on. And we've sent an awful lot of money and weapons over there for an earthquake. So if we can pay for cleanup of natural disasters in other people's countries, we can pay for cleanup of natural disasters in our own country. And that's what we're talking about, folks. Israel is not more important than North or South Dakota, or North or South Carolina, or Tennessee, or Georgia, or any of those other states. Those states are states. Israel is not a state. It's not. So, yeah. So we need to take care of our people with our money and resources. Sadly, I donated to an organization over the weekend that I thought was going to be sending money exactly to the hurricane people, disaster area. And no, they're collecting food for the college kids here. I mean, what, the kids can't afford food themselves? Anyway, I had it in my hand and I had to go to another appointment, so I had to give it. But yeah, I'm shocked that they were focusing on college kids in New England area and not sending anything to the hurricane victims. A little backward thinking, I think. Anyway, that was interesting. Then, what else? I don't know. There was an announcement that there could be problems, of course, with the anniversary coming up of the attacks on Israel, that maybe a retaliation of something might happen. So, anyway, we need to be on our best behavior right now. We need, and I call on this not only from U.S. citizens, but from citizens around the world, including world leaders. Let's sit down to the table. Let's stop this fighting and territorialism and, my God is better than your God stuff. Because it's not getting us anywhere but closer to World War III. And I don't want World War III. I don't know about you, but I don't want World War III. I have a daughter who wants to have a life and live her life to the fullest. And she shouldn't have to be worried about World War III. So shame on Israel and the Christian nationals for bringing us so close. The Zionists need to stop. It's enough now. Yeah. Then also at home, I call for people being responsible with their guns. It's hunting season soon. So be careful. And be responsible. Yeah. Okay. So I am a write-in candidate. The name you'll write in, the shortest amount that you can put in where it'll be recognized as me, is Susan Buchser. That's Susan, S-U-S-A-N. And then Buchser is my last name, B-U-C-H-S like Susan, E-R. And again, that's B-U-C-H-S like Susan, E-R. Don't forget to circle the little dot in the corner wherever it might be, so that indicates I am your choice. And happy voting, I suppose. I mean, the Supreme Court's sitting on my lawsuit, so it would be nice if they would make a ruling and we could move forward as a country, because all we're hearing about is more and more fraud in the system, and it's unacceptable. I already told my Secretary of State and my governor that this is not acceptable. I told them that 2 years ago, and they haven't done anything. What they are trying to do, I don't know if you've noticed, but they're trying to make it seem like they care suddenly, and they're trying to tell us about the fraud now, trying to make themselves look good. I'm sorry, U.S. people, that I'm not a lawyer. Otherwise, we would have had this cleared up already. But because I'm a beginner at this whole lawsuit business, I make mistakes. So I'm sorry about that. We could already be done and have legal people in office. But sadly, we still have the pirates in office. The Democrats and Republicans have taken over our country, and we need to get it back. So yes, when you feel like you're not being heard, it's because you're not being listened to. They might hear your voice, but they're not listening to it. And that's the problem. So we need to do a lot of things, but first we need to have a real election with people with integrity, because that's what we don't have right now. Okay. So this is the end of my talk for today, I guess. I have some people here, but they're mostly just saying hi and telling me how pretty I am. So I'm not really interested in talking about that. I was earlier this week at a bringing awareness event, a rally in Pennsylvania, at Harrisburg, where we brought awareness to the fact that there are innocent people who are in prison currently, and even some of them are on death row. And this is not good. And in fact, I think we might have executed a person 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago who was actually innocent. He had been fighting his lawsuit, his conviction, and was in the middle of still fighting it when they executed him. So, folks, this is not good. We have to stop killing innocent people, especially when they're grown up and they've been mistakenly charged and they're in prison mistakenly. It's not acceptable. Our justice system can do better than that. So my heart goes out to the family of all the innocent people who have been executed, who might be on death row, and who are in prison currently. The judicial system needs to be reformed as well. I have to admit I'm not so up to date on how to do that, but I'm with you. We need change. We need a lot of change. And it starts with the election. That's why I'm starting there. And I am working on a few things right now to get clarification about what's going on voting-wise and with some of these innocent people who got incarcerated. So I'll have maybe more in a couple of days. But I call for a halt. I call all states to halt their executions. They need to end death row and put the people in an appropriate place, and then reevaluate the lawsuits, the convictions. Make sure that they're accurate. Make sure that there's no faulty information in there. Because I think a lot of people have been steamrolled into prisons and they're innocent. So this is a huge problem. Just because somebody didn't want to do their homework doesn't mean that these people have to pay even, all the way with their life, their entire life, So, anyway, prison reform, judicial reform, criminal reform. These are all things we're going to be working on if I'm elected. All right. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. Susan Buchser for voting. And write my name in if you want change in the country. The other candidates are not bringing change. They're bringing the same old thing. And that's the truth. Because they're both part of the duopoly. And as you know, there are other candidates, but nobody's talking about them. So just know I'm out there. I'm here for you. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get the country going in a better direction this week. You know why? Tomorrow is always another day. It's always a fresh day to start new. That's how I look at it. Anyway, so I have my work cut out for me today, but tomorrow is a brand new day to bring real change to real people. Okay. On that note, hasta la vista, baby. Bye for now. Thanks for stopping by. My website, I forgot to say, is susan4usa.com. That's Susan, the number 4, usa.com.